Morning, everybody. This is DJ Dolph, and you're listening to the DJ Dolph Commuter Variety Hour here on WNUR 89.3, broadcasting in HD1 from Evanston, Chicago, from the beautiful campus of Northwestern University. Also online at WNUR.org. So, as I said, this is the DJ Dolph Commuter Variety Hour, and you are fortunate enough to be partying hardy with the one and only DJ Dolph. Well, there's more than one DJ Dolph, but we won't get into that. Sorry it was late this morning for all of my loyal listeners who tune in exactly at 7:30 every Wednesday. I needed a little more sleep. Like, those 20 minutes really made a difference. So, you may be interested to know that we were listening to Aphex Twin. The first one that we listened to is Dolph and I Am. That's from his 1992 release. Selected AME Works 85 to 92. And then we listened to Ptolemy from the same album. It didn't occur to me that both of these are kind of references to like very early times. Delphi, of course, was where the oracle, the Greek oracle, was located in ancient times. I believe they used a young version, and then drugged her up on, I can't remember what, something you wouldn't expect to make someone have hallucinations, but that was her whole life was spent in this temple, just babbling. And then people would interpret her delirious babbles, and those would be prophetic. People came from all around to see the Oracle of Delphi. That was Dolph and I Am. And then the other one, Ptolemy. Ptolemy was a philosopher. I'm thinking of Augustine of Hippo, but Ptolemaic, I gotta look this up, you guys. But I think that'd be a cool baby name, is Ptolemy. It's just weird enough that you'd never meet another person in your life named Ptolemy, but it's a good name. So we gotta keep on hitting the hits. I think it's a pretty day. So let's play some Kurt Vile, Waking on a Pretty Day. WNUR, keep it locked. Good morning, everybody. This is DJ Dolph. You're listening to the DJ Dolph Commuter Variety Hour on WNUR 89.3 FM HD1, Evanston, Chicago. Also online at WNUR.org. We're jamming exceptionally hard this morning, making up for 2 absent weeks. I was gone last week and the week before, having too much fun. So we listened to Reckoner by Radiohead from their album In Rainbows, and previous to that we heard Peel Dream Magazine with the song Lie in the Gutter that came out last September. And we heard Sonic Youth with the song Incinerate. I was actually reading about Sonic Youth during the break, and it's interesting, the band was formed in 1991? No, 1981, sorry. But that song came out on their 14th album, Rather Ripped, which released in 2006. That's a pretty long time. That's 25 years after the band was invented. But I guess they're pretty famous for a reason. We started the set out with Waking on a Pretty Daze by Kurt Vile, which is the title track from his album of the same name. Came out in 2011? Hold on. ...2013. 100% of people like this album. I actually have it on vinyl. It's more than 2 discs, I think. Well, anyways, we gotta keep it rocking here. You're listening to Aim Strong with the song Tout est bleu, which means everything is blue.
Tout est bleu, tout est
Good morning, everybody. This is DJ Dolph, and you're listening to the DJ Dolph Commuter Variety Hour here on WNUR 89.3 FM HD1 Evanston, Chicago. Broadcasting from the magnificent campus of Northwestern University on the banks of Lake Michigan. I'm on every Wednesday, 7:30 to 9:30, helping get you through the morning commute. So we just heard the British artist Boof, B-O-O-F, with the song Burgit Boogie, B-A-R-G-I-T, Burgit Boogie. I think I may have known this at a certain point, but I looked it up a couple weeks ago to make a pun. But the word boof is a verb, which means to ingest alcohol anally. I guess that's a thing, and I guess it works. I guess I should tell you the joke that it was, I originally looked it up to refer to. My friend, Seth, puts on a show called Thirsty Ears, and it's, live music plus, beer. And I went right at the end this year. It was a couple weeks ago. It's down on Wilson in Ravenswood, near Access Contemporary Music. Seth Bosted is his name. I made a joke that I was going to start a competing festival and call it Thirsty Rears, where we would all ingest alcohol anally. It's a true story. I'm not sure if anyone is laughing, but that artist from England was named Boof, which brought me to that story. It was released in 2015, the Burgit Boogie. Then we heard Crumb, the band Crumb, with the song Balloon. It's a cool song. And Beach House with the song New Romance. And we started the set out with Jin Sang with the track Feelings. I think I originally found that song from a WebM I found on the interwebs, which was a supercut of a 1970s Jack Nicholson movie where he works in an oil rig. I can't remember what it's called, but it is so comfy. was such a cool montage with that song over it. Anyways, you're currently listening to Apex Twin, the song Blue Calx. Calx is an interesting word. I believe it's similar to flux, in that it's something that you add to a crucible to help the reaction. Yeah. So I'll be on for another 15 minutes. Keep it locked, boys and girls.
It's Sunday, you're walking down 10th Street, but with her, just how it was with me. Listening to songs we would play. I heard that she loves eat, sleep, wake, and I'm dreaming about you, screwing me over now. Started believing in what I would see. I found out it's Monday. I ask you a question so mundane. You glance her direction, leaving little thoughts up in the air. I heard that she loves catching you stare, and I'm dreaming about you, screwing me over now. Started believing in what I would see. I found out maybe it's my fault. Was it my mind that was too scared of the fall? I just had my doubts. When she gives you all, the one they call love. And I'm dreaming about you, screwing me over now. Wasn't believing in what I would see. I found out.
Jupiter or Thor is perfect. We need Atlas for our long-distance stuff. The Titan will be even better. They shouldn't have canceled Navajo. Wait till you see our submarines with Polaris.
Attention all personnel, this is CBTS. Space vehicle pre-count operations will start on my mark at 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's mighty strange. You look good happily in I can you sell a machine bed? Or have you picked your top? But guiltily I thought she had it coming hastily. Does she talk back hastily? in my brain. It's coming through, and I never hear your name in my brain. Just me and you.
Tell me honestly, when you went cross country, did you find your American dream running away from me? Did you take my advice? Did you make a new life? Pre-punks, indie bands, nothing I would understand. Or did you see my name? Exit signs, waves of rain. Imagine your reply inside, but that's all I'm gonna get, isn't it? Feel the sting of your bookish grin, infinite. If you ever wanna find me, if you ever change your mind on me, I'm hoping that you might. In the cornflower blue hour, caught in the tie-in light. All I have left of you is a story for parties. Left while I'm telling it, I think that I'm selling it. Am I at the bottom of the beer? When you're spinning out on your knees, imagine your reply inside. But that's all I'm gonna get, isn't it? Feel the sting of your bookish grin, infinite. If you ever wanna find me, if you ever change your mind on me, I'm hoping that you might. In a cornflower blue hour, caught in the tie-in. You always knew, didn't you? You said I look good in blue, didn't you? You always knew, didn't you? You said I look good in blue, didn't you?
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is DJ Dolph, and you've been listening to the DJ Dolph Commuter Variety Hour, special hour and a half edition. Every Wednesday here on WNER 89.3 FM, HD1 Evanston, Chicago. Every Wednesday from 7:30 to 9:30 in the morning. But, I do have to go. I have other things I must do than sit in here and make you listen to my music. It's not really my music, it's just the music that I know. So in a way that makes it my music. We can really get into the ontology of it. This is college radio. We're supposed to use big words, so it takes me a while to think of them but I know big words too. So they're my words. Okay. So I think I'm gonna have to play one song and then get out of here. But thanks for listening, everybody. It's been a special morning, and I hope it turns into a special day.